you want to get out of your state, still trying to figure out which one you're going to move to, stick around. We're going to tell you all the reasons you do want to move to Florida. I'm AJ Baduke, and this is
Andrew.
We're doing videos every week from Pensacola to Panama City Beach. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button and ding that bell so that you get notified every time we do another video. If you have any questions about the area, these are the videos you're going to want to watch.
We are getting calls, texts, and emails pretty much daily at this point of people wanting to move to our area. So before we get into the great content, if that sounds like you, go ahead and reach out to us, and make sure you reach out to us early, because trust us, it's definitely beneficial for you when you do.
It's not beneficial when you don't reach out.
Exactly.
Just don't. It's really silly, actually.
And we are getting calls, texts, and emails pretty much daily at this point of people looking to move to the Emerald Coast here. So if that sounds like you, then all of our information is on the screen. You can call, text, email, smoke signal, paper airplane, however you want to get a hold of us, because we've got your back when moving here to Florida.
I love the paper airplane part, especially when it's handwritten. People have such great handwriting.
They do.
Way better than mine.
So today we're talking about the top 5 reasons that we have come up together with why you might want to move here to the Sunshine State.
Why would you want to move here and be blinded by the sun like we are right now with this ring of fire that we use to illuminate our faces so that you can squint like we do on a regular?
So I'm going to start with a big perk for a lot of people. You know, I'm not going to say whether or not which side we are on, but it is DeSantis and guns. I know those are two things. But a lot of people like DeSantis. Some people don't like DeSantis. I'm sure that's, it's politics, right? So everything is going to be, based on whatever your views are. But we do get a lot of folks that move here for that. They're tired of their state. They're tired of what they're seeing. They're tired of the blueness, if you will, or, whatever they're not getting wherever they're at. And they're wanting to move to the beautiful Sunshine State. And when you get something like that, you go to a red area like this, that also means guns. So if you like guns, if you like being around guns, if you're okay knowing that you might be in the grocery store line and the guy in front of you has a concealed carry gun, this might be the state for you.
Yeah, we've definitely seen a lot of folks moving from California or New York specifically stating that they want to be where Daddy DeSantis is in charge. So
Daddy DeSantis, yeah.
That's what we keep hearing.
It sounds weird, but it actually is true. We are getting that a lot, whether it's Philadelphia, New York, Chicago. We've got a couple of them from there. Lots of California. It seems like there's just a wave of people moving down here from that Portland. Two different ones from Portland from this channel alone, actually, which is kind of cool. But yeah, definitely a lot of people coming down for that. So keep in mind, if you're going to move down here, that is something that you're going to be around.
Definitely. And something else that I think is bringing a lot of people to our area that isn't necessarily because of the aesthetics or the houses or the beach in general is finances. We don't have a state income tax. So when folks are looking for maybe a vacation rental, or they're able to work remotely and they just want something where more of their money is going to stay in their pockets, that no state income tax is definitely a big perk.
Yeah, it brings a lot of people in, has you, cost of living might be a little bit higher compared to where you're at. If you're coming from some of those places we talked about, it's still lower, and you don't have that state income tax. That's super, super big for a lot of people. And since we're talking about income tax and income and money and all of that stuff, I would say another really big reason we hear a lot of people moving down here, whether on this channel or otherwise, is the strong economy. So our area has a couple of very unique things to it. Of course, tourism is very popular, but we also have some major military bases. In fact, we've got the largest landmass Air Force base in the country right here. And so we get a lot of folks coming in and out for there, stabilizing our economy, making it nice and even. So when we have really big woes in the country, we don't see them as much. So that's kind of nice.
Yeah, it's like a protective bubble that we have, not just because it's the military, but because it protects our economy as well. And all of those bases means not just active duty military personnel, but also military contractors, government contractors, a lot of things that just aren't going away. And because the water isn't going to just dry up, tourism is going to remain pretty steady as well. It's pretty unique, like you said.
Yeah, and good thing for all the tourists, because that's actually the reason why we don't have state income tax. So those two kind of pair together pretty nicely. Because of all the tourism money that we get, that's why they decided, hey, we don't need to do state income tax in Florida, which is like one of, I think, 11 or 7. Those two numbers always stick out in my head of the number of states that don't have it.
And speaking of beaches, that's another great reason for being here, not just, because of tourism coming in to visit, but people come in to visit and buy and live, here because of the beaches. We have the number 3 beach in the U.S., I think, something like that in our area.
Yeah, it just kind of depends on which magazine it is and which year and which publication and all that stuff, but I'll tell you this, I have traveled the country, and I know I say this on a lot of videos. You guys have not, or not the country, the world, have been all over different beaches in the Caribbean and even over in Europe and on the other side of the country, just all over. I'm telling you, I'm not saying this because we sell here or anything like that. These beaches are hands down the best I've ever been to. There are some other competing ones that have like warmer waters or whatever, but then their sand is rocky, or the sand is decent, but then the waters are murky and gross. This has it all. This sand is powder. It's like my favorite thing in the whole world. It's just like this powder sand, and it just feels good on your toes, and it's just an overall good experience. I'm not one to get in the water as much, but the water's still really, really nice, and it is beautiful. The other day I was going over the bridge, that gorgeous, like pristine aqua color, and it was like the deepest I've seen it in a long time. Man, I wanted to pull over right on the bridge, but you're not supposed to do that, so I didn't.
Plus, then you wouldn't really be able to get into the water either if you're on the bridge.
Well, I mean, you
could take a quick jump.
Yeah,
It'd be a quick trip.
Yeah, that's not a fun one that we want to take.
No, definitely not. And, so I've been around the world as well, and one beach that always, comes to mind is the Whitsundays over in Australia, which is, freaking incredible. But you've got the Irukandji, which are, horrible and extremely deadly jellyfish. They're, the size of your pinky nail, and they're transparent, and they'll kill you in, 30 minutes.
Oh, jeez.
So it's, really beautiful to look at, and it's a really great adrenaline rush to get into that water, but it's not like our beaches where if it's a jellyfish, you're gonna see it because they're bigger and they have color to them and such, so it's a little bit easier to get away from.
That's kind of terrifying. I've been to a lot of good beaches too. The only one that almost comes close to this is in Guam, actually. I thought it was beautiful. We had to march down a mile to get to it, have this beautiful little lagoon, and at the end of the day they've got a big problem too, and it's called rockfish, and if you step on one it paralyzes you. I don't know if it's temporarily or not, but because you're paralyzed in the water it ends up being permanent. So we don't have any of that. That's pretty cool. We actually had to wear water shoes and stuff. It was mandatory. It was a big deal.
Oh my gosh.
So we don't have any of those problems here is my point. And
our beaches are the best.
They are the best. And speaking of beaches, to pair with the beaches, we've got pretty phenomenal weather. In fact, everybody knows that about Florida. We talk about it all the time. Other people talk about it all the time. But this area is a little bit more specific in my personal opinion because you get further south in Florida, and although the weather is very good and it does stay warmer longer, it also stays incredibly hot longer and even hotter, and during those certain months of the year it's kind of brutal to be outside,
and their beaches aren't as nice. That's
a true.
Yeah.
That's a true.
You right. So I went to Miami with some girlfriends of mine, and it was super warm. It was awesome, but it was hope you didn't do anything to your hair that you wanted to stay that way because the humidity and everything was not today. You're going to look good in the bathroom for 5 minutes, and then you're going to open that door, and it's going to be did you even try?
So definitely something to think about if you've got big old poofy hair, that you might have to come up with some nice products or something to help fix that. Because I do notice that. I never would have noticed it had a female not pointed out, because us guys, we don't really see that stuff. But I notice it now. Now it's definitely something that we think about. But all in all, great weather. I really like that during the winter it doesn't get incredibly cold. Obviously it's Florida. It doesn't do that in South Florida either. But we have a longer period of what I would call good, mild weather. Basically from kind of February, March, depending on the year. Some months or some years, those are still pretty cold. All the way till about May time frame, it's pretty bearable to be outside. I mean, not bearable. It's good. It's nice. It's 70 degrees, and then it starts getting in a little bit hotter than that, where you don't want to be outside for too long, especially if you're out working or running around showing properties or whatever you're doing with your time.
I like being outside when it's super hot. I mean, it's nice when it's like that and you're not worried about what you're going to wear. Am I sweating through my skirt?
Yeah, I'm always, that's something I'm worried about. I'm worried that when it's too hot, I'm going to sweat through my skirt, and that's never good. And I look good in a sundress, so I just don't want to ruin that. So.
Pictures where it never happened.
And for those of you counting, that was the fifth reason to move to Florida, but we do have a bonus tip for you. But before we get into that, AJ, we've got a question for our audience. What is it?
Go ahead and comment down below if you're still with us. Why did you move to Florida, or why are you considering moving to Florida if you haven't yet? Trick, though. You can't use any of the reasons that we stated. You got to come up with your own. You got to be original.
Oh, man. You're just looking for more tips for us to do video content on later.
Shamelessly.
I like it. Now, what is the bonus tip, AJ?
Us.
Yay!
Oh, you get to be our neighbors if you move down here.
You're welcome.
We should have started with that. Like that.
That would have gotten everybody.
Oh, yeah, but then everybody would have just clicked off the video and called us, so.
Oh, that's a problem.
Yeah, because we really like you guys to watch and comment and stuff like that. But we wanted to thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions or need to reach out to us in any capacity, all of our information is on the screen as usual. And I guess, well, see you later.
Bye, y'all.